Hey, everybody, welcome back to the RGR Football Channel. My name is Daniel Harms. Today, we're going to kick this week off outside of the live stream Q&A, talking about the Chiefs defense, why they were able to get on track, what things that I noticed that I took some look at the film to really study into. I had some questions and some comments about people wanting to see the Juan Thornhill snaps and how he looked, what they did with him, and why he was playing 100% of the snaps finally for the first time all season. So let's go ahead and dig right in. Make sure you're tuning in on Wednesday night. I'm going to have the live film review. We're going to really go into how the Chiefs got going in the second half. What happened in the first that derailed them, the whole interception, how that first drive they had was able to get off the ground. They did a good job of moving the ball down the field and really attacking initially, and they still moved the ball well. Just those turnovers were getting to them. And then I'm going to take a look at that second half, how they were able to explode, how Mahomes dialed himself back in, and they brought themselves out of a hole, which I think could really turn the tide for this entire season. Also, Ryan and Seth will be back on Thursday doing the Q&A for the Chief in the North. Make sure you tune in for that. We're going to have stuff for you guys labeled throughout the entire week. Again, I hope you would join me Wednesday night for that live film review. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to get a little more comfortable in doing it. So please join me. Today, like I said, defensively, the Chiefs actually got going outside of that one drive where everything broke down with the 3rd and 16 conversion with the screen, and then the fake screen, the pump, and everyone bites on it to get that touchdown. Outside of that entire long touchdown that Ben Neiman did not go with Ricky Seals Jones, they were able to really do a good job of keeping everything in front of them. And a lot of that comes down to playing Juan Thornhill 100% of the snaps. So I went through all of the film for the defense, and I totaled every single alignment that the chief safeties had, how many times they used single high with Matthew, how many times they use single high with Juan Thornhill, with too high with Matthew and Thornhill, too high with anybody else, and then other snaps that were like zero blitz or they were in man coverage, things like that, or the play went a little bit too quickly for them to really get into their set. So what I found was in the single high with Matthew, they used that eight times. Typically, you don't want to have Matthew as a pure deep defender most of the time. So that makes a lot of sense. With Thornhill, they used him as a single high 16 times out of the whole 59 snaps. So he was by himself as the deep safety 16 times. Then this is where the big thing comes in for me. They used two high safeties at least for the first 15, 25, the first couple of seconds of the play. They used Matthew and Thornhill a whopping 23 times on the game out of the 59 snaps. That's where they're making most of their money. That alignment, as well as the Thornhill as the deep safety, combined for the most out of 59 snaps. So that's where they're most comfortable. That's where they were the best, in my personal opinion. And then the two high I labeled as other. That was Thornhill mixed with a couple drops from Dan Sorensen, and also two from L'Jarius Sneed. So he's starting to mix in a little bit more as a safety, a guy that can come in and you don't know if he's going to play slot, if he's going to play outside, if he's going to play safety. So I think they're going to see a little bit more of that going forward too. And then the other snaps were three, where there was like zero blitz, or you had either Thornhill or Matthew kind of running off in man coverage doing their thing. So that totals the 59% of the snaps, or the 59 total snaps, excuse me. And Juan Thornhill played every single one of them. That's one of the huge keys to their success in getting their best players on the field. Thornhill showed very well. He didn't look to be out of sorts. He didn't seem to be confused. There was one play that I noted where I wasn't entirely sure if it was Hitchens or Thornhill that missed their assignment, but they both went to the flat defender on the left side of the field and let someone come open over the middle in a two deep safety set, which is not what you want, obviously, because you have Dan Sorensen as your middle linebacker, and they decided they were going to run essentially two deep safety, but then have Thornhill also cover that outside. Like I said, I don't know whether it was Thornhill or it was Hitchens that messed up that play. I would think that it was Thornhill that messed it up and didn't carry the middle defender or the slot defender over the middle of the field, and that forced Sorensen to be in a bad position with the drag underneath, and then the guy coming right behind him, and he was in no man's land. Luckily, they got a little bit of pressure, and Taylor Heineke threw it up into double coverage on the other side of the field with a streaking, I believe it was Terry McLaurin. So Outside of that, I didn't see many lapses in judgment from Thornhill. I thought they played well together as a two deep safety set with Matthew and Thornhill. It was a much better collective effort from the safeties. The corners played much better. Specifically, we all talk about Rashad Fenton. I noted multiple times that he was just more physical. His change of direction was a little bit better than I've seen in the past. He stayed with guys like Terry McLaurin and Deami Brown across the middle of the field a little bit better. Yeah, he's going to lose some snaps and lose some reps, but he's not Mike Hughes playing on the outside and opening up the middle of the field completely to the guy that he's playing, whether it's Deami Brown, whether it's Adam Humphries, whether it's Terry McLaurin. They were kind of getting open on the middle of the field and some of those over routes and some of those slant routes a little bit too easy for my liking on Hughes. So coming into the next week, if Charvarius Ward ends up being good to go, I do expect him to play in those three corner sets. I think that L'Jarius Sneed and Rashad Fenton are the should be your two starting outside corners and base. That's really what it comes down to. The versatility that they actually both bring, because Fenton can also play as a slot corner, also as a safety. So you can really start to mess with offenses with four or five guys on the field at one time. They can play slot, they can play on the outside, they can play safety. That's where Spags lives. That's where he wants to be, and that's where he can really do some of his damage. So, like I said, this was their best showing. It was against one of the worst offenses that they played. But let's be real about the situation. Any kind of improvement, advancement in that defense is what you need to see. The Philadelphia Eagles offense is not very good. If you guys watched outside of the game they played against the Chiefs, it's not a very good offense. They're unable to really do anything, and that they just carved up the Chiefs. So that really was something that I took away from me, because I think that if they would have played Thornhill a bit more in that game as a deep safety, you don't see some of those deep shots because he has that room to recover. And like I said, I didn't see any hitches in his steps. It didn't look like he was hurting with the knee. His click and close is still there. We noticed on that tackle for loss, I think that even without um, Bolton, sorry, excuse me, just lost my train of thought there. Lost Bolton without moving him from a little bit on outside on that screenplay, that he's still going to come down and hit him and get a tackle for loss. Multiple times I saw him triggering downhill in the run game. He was not afraid to get in there a little bit. Obviously, I think he's still a little hesitant with getting downhill and wrapping up some of these. You see, he kind of throws his shoulder at the legs of the runners. I'm not sure whether that's a confidence thing or and trying not to get hit thing. We're going to kind of see how that goes forward. But again, the best performance of their season was in that game against the Washington football team. That one drive that ended in the touchdown was the only one they really were getting gashed. They had a couple runs they let up, but coming into the game against the Titans, it's a confidence booster. And now you have to deal with AJ Brown, maybe Julio Jones, Derrick Henry. This is where the defense has to take this confidence and kind of play with that level of tenacity. They have to be able to draw on the times that they've played the Tennessee Titans in the past, kind of get some of that energy. Frank Clark's going to have to play better than he played last week. Yeah, he played better than he did the week before and against the Bills, but this is all about improving every single week. You have to take it 1 week at a time, and you have to now raise your level of play, because even without Taylor Lewan, who could or could not play, we don't know yet. He's in concussion protocol. We're going to find out later in the week if he can play and be that left tackle for the Titans in that run game that's just incredible. Derrick Henry, they're going to have to find ways to clog up the middle of the field, force Derrick Henry to get to the outside. I know it's not what typically you'd want to do, but if he's going north and south and he doesn't have to do much, that's where he's most dangerous. Getting to the outside, yeah, it's still a dangerous thing for him because of his acceleration, speed, quickness, all of that. His footwork is incredible. But if you can clog the middle and force him to kick it outside, you have a better chance of getting maybe Willie Gay in there to facilitate some help and get some of these corners and safeties to come down. Really, it's your best shot. They're going to have to be able to clog that middle. And what it comes down to is adjustments for this game against the Titans. Again, you're going to have to see the exact kind of safety blend that you saw against the footballs. You're going to have to see Willie Gay play more snaps than he did. I don't know what they're going to do at middle linebacker yet. I know that Ben Neiman is the guy that called it, came in last week. But as much as it hurts me because I don't like putting rookies in that position, I think you have to put Nick Bolton in the position to be the middle linebacker to get more athletes on the field at linebacker. You have to play Willie Gay more. And I know that hopefully Anthony Hitchens is okay. And if he's not good to play in this game, I'm not sure what else you can do. Ben Neiman's going to have to play more, but you don't want him to be that middle linebacker. When they go to nickel, you have to have Willie Gay come in with Nick Bolton. That has to be it. You can't have it with Neiman and Bolton because they're going to run down the throat of that defense and they're just going to keep doing it and keep doing it. So they're going to have to adjust. They have to do a better job of adjusting there. Maybe we see, a little bit more condensed safety looks, more actual single high safety and not just two deep safeties. Maybe they switch out. Maybe they do a little bit more Matthew in the back and bring a bigger body in Thornhill into the box a bit more. I don't know. We're going to have to find some adjustments there. But the teeth of this defense has to be Nick Bolton and Willie Gay. They have to be the guys coming downhill quick to stop any of this stuff. Nick Bolton's been up to the task of coming downhill and tackling guys to this point. Derrick Henry is a whole different monster. So I want to see some improvement and some willingness and tenacity to get downhill and do that. I think he can. It's all about what he trusting his eyes and trusting his downhill ability to make tackles for loss and tackles to the line of scrimmage. Very important. But again, improvement is all you can really hope for. And the Chiefs defense, regardless of the opponent, 100% had an improvement game. It had a landmark game for this season, in my opinion, almost as a completed game as they played on defense. That, like I said, the one touchdown, only allowing 13 points. That was the lowest total the Washington football team has been held to this season. It's an achievement. Okay. That's just what it is. I know the opponent is not what you would want it to be. I know the offense sputtered in the first half, but like I said, we're going to look at the second half of the game with the offense tomorrow night. But this defense, you have to do it. You have to come prepared. I'm hoping that Chris Jones plays in this game. And if he does, look for him to play the majority of this game at defensive tackle. I think that there's a pretty decent chance that Whitney Mercilus becomes a Kansas City Chief this week. I don't think he's going to be a guy who plays in on rundowns, but pass rush situations, yes, that will also allow Chris Jones to be more of a defensive tackle. If you want to play Chris Jones at defensive tackle the rest of the season, which I think they have to, you have to look to bring in a Whitney Mercilus to get him on the field a bit more and make sure you have a steady rotation at defensive end. Because with Chris Jones playing the majority out there, you don't have much in the way of pass rush up the middle. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. And I know that I am always saying I'm being honest with you, but that's what it is. Chris Jones has to play defensive tackle for them to be the most and the best version of themselves, combined with everything they're doing on the back end. I think this secondary has a chance to be a strength of this team going forward. That's impressive for what we saw a couple weeks ago. Like they were getting torched against everybody. Just everybody was torching them. So yeah, this defense has an ability to come and get together right now. Jerron Reed, all the guys up front, Frank Clark, Derek Nottie, everybody got to come bring their lunch pail. It's going to be a long game against Derrick Henry. And as you've seen, the stats point out, the longer he runs, the more he runs in the first, second, third, and fourth quarters, specifically the fourth quarter, his yards per carry go up since the third and the second and the first quarter. It's remarkable how he wears a defense down. The Chiefs need to find a way to weather the storm in the first half and three quarters and get some stops, make them get field goals. So that's going to be playing on the first, second down with Derek Nottie. He's probably not going to leave the field until third down. And that means that Chris Jones is going to have to be there with him. They're going to have to move some guys around. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that defensive front up front. So, like I said, if Jerron Reed comes to play, if Derek Nottie comes to play, if Chris Jones comes to play, these guys are have the ability and the wherewithal to get some movement on that offensive line up front. It's going to come down to, I don't want to say it's going to be like a shootout, but the improvement that I've seen leads me to believe that they have a chance to stop this offense. Ryan Tannehill is not playing the best of his career. He's not playing the best of the last couple seasons right now. So take advantage of it when you can. Get some third down and longs early in the game. Force some three and outs, and they should be in good shape because that defense for the Titans is. They showed up a little bit against the Bills, but I think that's all they got. So the offense is going to come prepared. Defense in the back end is going to be prepared. I'm just waiting to see what they do up front. So without any further ado, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you do right here. You can follow me at In Harm's Way 19. Like I said, tomorrow night, we're going to do the live film review. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to go through some film. We're going to have a nice long conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to look at some things that I even missed in my first time watching the game. So I hope you guys join me then. I'm so excited to be doing this. I think we're going to try to get it every single week, and yeah, it's going to be. I think this game has the opportunity to be really, really interesting, really fun, and looking forward to seeing the Titans on Sunday. It could end up being the game of the week. So make sure you guys are ready. Brian and I, everyone here at RGR, are going to have you covered all week. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.